Hi guys, welcome back to Wolf Sister Reviews. Today's video will likely be very short. You'll know here in a few seconds why. Jess, this is my sister.
Hi, I'm Minnie.
Again, welcome back. Before we get started, go ahead and like and subscribe down below. So, what did we watch this time, Miss Minnie, who she picked it?
I did pick it. I heard good things about it, so I didn't know what to expect, but we watched Murderville on Netflix.
Yes, we did.
So
there's about how many episodes?
There's only 6 episodes right now. I don't know if they're adding more or if this was
30 minutes an episode.
Yeah, if it was like a test to see kind of the reach and the reaction and what have you. So they could add more. I'm not positive. It did felt like full circle, so like the way that it ended it felt like it was the end, but...
And each episode is basically a skit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They try to run it as so that they all blend together, but it's definitely got like a skit feel to it.
Yeah. I don't want to say like there's a plot. I mean, there's kind of a plot, but I think what you need to know before watching it is each episode is its own skit, as to what Jess said. So the idea behind this was that they were going to create almost like a play, and they had a new person in every episode that was the quote-unquote partner of the main detective.
And it seemed like the people that were the guests are the ones who did improv, basically.
Yes. So everybody that's a recurring character, they had scripts. But every person coming in that was the new partner, they were improv. They had no script. They had nothing to follow. They just were supposed to go along with the story and basically feed off of what the detective was saying to them or what other people's characters were saying to them.
Mm-hmm.
So starting off, I mean, you've got Will Arnett, who's playing Terry Seattle, who is the main detective. He's in every episode.
And it's the voiceover, which the voiceover was cool. He's using his like scruffy. He's got a scruffy voice going on. It's cool.
Yeah. And so he is the obviously main character. Everybody else is, there's other main characters, but they don't play as big of a role as Will Arnett does. And I thought Will Arnett was great, but again, I don't feel like this was a real acting challenge, right? It was kind of an acting challenge because there was so much improv that was happening. But anyway, so I want to get into my thoughts. There are 6 episodes. Of those 6 episodes, I felt like 3 of them were good. Not amazing, not anything crazy, but I thought that 3 of them were good. So episode 1, I thought was great. Conan O'Brien was the guest detective or the new partner, and he understood the assignment. He understood improv. Okay, that's what I want to start with. Is he never said no, and that's the idea behind improv. Is you don't say no. You don't tell them you're not going to do that. You just roll with it, and you continue to be the character that they want you to be. I preface that by because there was a scene that was my favorite scene, and both people broke character. It was when they were in the restaurant, and they were questioning the waitress about what she had to do with the current murder. And they ordered their food, and Will Arnett ordered the food for both of them. Conan O'Brien was sitting there, and he has his food in front of him, and Will basically says, "You're going to eat that. You're going to eat that while you question her." And instead of him saying no, Conan O'Brien's like, "Okay." And Will Arnett's like, "But first, we're going to add hot sauce." And he douses this burger or whatever it is in hot sauce. And oh my gosh, Conan O'Brien did such a good job. He kept taking bites, and you could tell it was real hot sauce, and he was not enjoying what he was eating. He was definitely like, But this is where I say they both broke character, because Conan was like, you could tell he was breaking character. But if you pay attention to Will Arnett's character in those scenes where he keeps adding the hot sauce and telling Conan to take another bite, you can see him over there trying his hardest not to laugh but he is laughing at the same time. And his mustache really does like hide it very well if you're not paying attention. But I implore you, go back and rewatch that whole scene and only watch Will Arnett's character. I was dying laughing because he couldn't keep a straight face. He couldn't stay in character for anything while Conan...
I did pay attention to Conan like that whole time.
Yeah, like while Conan was eating that burger...
I can't say I can put myself through that again to watch it again, though.
It was hilarious to me. I loved that part. So the second thing is episode 3. I loved episode 3 through and through.
That was Kumail?
Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani.
That's the only episode that I paid, like, I could actively enjoy and be involved in.
Yeah, so...
I mean, I think I kind of had a crush on him by the end of the episode.
So I really liked... I will start out by saying that was my favorite episode. However, Kumail did not understand the assignment, man. He did not understand the assignment.
He was so brilliant, and I love that he nearly lost it laughing half the time. Like,
he didn't understand the improv part of it. He kept saying no. Like, he didn't come out and say no, but if you watch it, it was very hard for him to accept what Will Arnett was telling him to do. I'm glad it did,
though, because that's what I was asking myself the whole time. I was like, really? Nobody's gonna, like, even try to do it a little differently with all this stupid shit that he is telling them to do while they've got the earpiece in. None of them are gonna like try to change it up or make it better because it was just bad. No offense, guys, but it was just bad. And I was like, no one's gonna question it or just do something else instead.
That's what they're supposed to do. It's improv.
Well, no, improv. The word improv does not mean do whatever you're told.
It is. If you actually watch theater, enactments, improv is like the number one thing that a lot of actors will do to literally get better at acting. And when they do improv class, that's the first rule: is you can't say no. If you really go look at it, well, that's the whole point of improv.
That's
is
stupid.
To just continue to roll with the
Don't call it improvisation. Don't call it improvisation then.
Like, call it provocation. You're being provoked to do something that may not be comfortable for you.
Call it indentured servitude.
But yeah, so Kumail, like, I loved the way that he handled it, right? I loved his
especially
character.
When he wanted him to walk down the hall.
Yeah.
When he told him to...
He did it.
And then he gets up there and he's like,
but he did it.
This is all ruined and I blame you. Like, and you just see Kumail like laughing, but not to laugh. And then like everything that he was trying to get him to do to turn his character, the girl off to his character. And then the girl was like, oh, that's really attractive. And
you just embrace it.
Yeah. And I just loved it. I love that.
Yeah.
That part I loved. But it was Kumail's like personality and his flip on it that he wouldn't just he was just like, no, like no. I have boundaries, I have limits, you're not. And maybe that just speaks to the kind of person I am. Like, I don't like being told what to do, so the more he kept telling him what to do, I was like, yes, Kumail, like freaking somebody tell him no.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care if the assignment is to do whatever you're told, like.
Yeah. And the two main points that I'm saying like he said no with was when in the very, very beginning when they're doing the introduction.
Yeah.
And he's like, what was the name of your girlfriend, of your first high school crush?
Oh, yeah.
And because they're playing themselves, they're not allowed to just come up with a character, right? This was a real question. It was something he really had to answer. Right. And he's all, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that. And with improv, you would just say it. You would just go along with it.
I had so much respect for him because he said no.
And he didn't want to, and I was okay with it. It was just the idea, like, that's not what improv is. That's why I had a problem with it. Now, I'm not saying it was such a big problem that I didn't like how he acted and how he did do improv through the episode. It was just that the idea was he was supposed to answer the question or give. And if you watch it, they continue to try to get that out of him through the episode. What was her name? Remind me what her name was again, because you told me. And he was like, nope, not going to happen. I'm never going to tell you her name. So he stuck true to it, which was great. But the other one was when he was like, I'm going to be me, but your name is Detective something Wienerbottom. And he's all, what? And he's like, yeah, tell me your name. What's your name? He's all, can we negotiate this? Can we, like, does it have to be that? Can we maybe come up with something else? And he's like, no, You're Detective Wienerbottom. Now tell me what your name is. And he's all, Detective Wienerbottom.
Well, I love when they're talking to that one suspect, and the guy's like, we had this big idea to start a business.
Oh, yeah.
And Kumail's like,
that was your idea?
That was the big idea to start a business?
That was the one he stole?
Yeah.
That was the idea he stole?
I just was like, and it was his mannerisms too, and just the way Kumail like carried himself and the way he said things. I was like, oh, I can like enjoy this episode, but it's still like, I mean, all it made me want to do is watch more stuff that Kumail is in, not ever watch that show again. But you're talking a lot about it, making me think like, you must have gave it a lot of stars here. Like, where on this 5-star are we at there, Minnie?
I will tell you. But first, I want to get to the last episode, which was the third one that I liked. So that one had Kim Jeong in it, and I love Kim Jeong. He is one of my favorite comedians out there. And
he was great.
But oh my gosh, like he couldn't keep a straight face if it was going to save his life. Like,
it was awesome.
He broke character so much, and it would like. But that's what I loved about that episode, was that he did break character. He knew that this was all improv, but he loved that he was doing it all, and he had no problem with doing it. But it was that he's like, huh, really? Oh, really? I got to do that? Okay, and he went through with it. But like, just the way that he was.
Can you imagine him filming Hangover?
I can't.
And like how many times
probably laughing. And
how many times they had to do so many takes? Like, because all I saw was him in Hangover, and I thought, if you can't keep your like a straight face doing this, like how hard that must have been for you in Hangover, because everything you were doing was just insane.
Oh yeah, and so just the fact that he was giggly through all of it. Like, he was so giggly.
I just love him more as a person now than I did before.
Mm-hmm. And so I think he did really well, because he did follow, the rules of improv. He did what he was supposed to do, but throughout it, he broke character. And I feel like Will Arnett, even though Kim was very giggly and very much breaking his character, Will Arnett did a great job at not breaking character. So I feel like the biggest time that Will Arnett broke his own character was with Conan O'Brien in that hot sauce moment.
I was going to say,
because
Will Arnett was like consistent.
Yeah, I was watching him a lot to see what he was like, if his reaction to their breaking character was also breaking his character. So I wasn't just paying attention to the guest speaker. I was definitely honing in on Will Arnett's character to see like, how much are you putting up with? And how much are you like stifling anything within you to join into the giggles, to join into that like breaking out of who you're supposed to be playing right now? So yeah, there's that. Well then, what was your episode? Was it episode 3? That was the only one you liked?
Kumail, yeah, that's the only one. And I mean, shout out to Sharon Stone, because she did a really good job. She did a really good job. I enjoyed some of her parts. But I also felt like through some of it, she was like this close to just like standing up and walking out.
Yeah.
Like she was just like, okay, guys, this is too much. I'm done. Like,
especially because Will Arnett in that whole episode, he's like, you can't fall in love with me. You can't fall in love with me. And then he's like, are you falling in love with me? Is it happening yet? And she's just...
Well, and then with the whole give me money. You just need to give me 15,000 or whatever money and I want you to be my partner in all this, and I was just, and you could just, the looks on her face, it was just, yeah. But she did a good job.
She did.
So,
she did.
Shout out to her. I did like the captain though too. She was probably like, if overall, like I didn't enjoy it. It was really hard for me to get through. But I've had a cold for the last week, so I had time and just kind of suffered through my best. I mean, we watch a lot of stuff, and so I just powered through it.
Yeah.
And if I had to pick a favorite character, it was the captain. Like I liked her. Look, I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of her lines were the same, but
right.
I look forward to her interaction with him, like with Will Arnett's character. And to be honest, maybe it's just the hopeless romantic in me that at the end I was really hoping that like when he was like, I want to work out our marriage, that she was going to say yes. And then she didn't, and it was sad. But I don't know, it just didn't really, and I like mysteries and stuff. It just didn't really have any of the real elements about TV that I like. It was all made up. It felt like, I mean, obviously it was made up, right? But I just felt like there was just so much stupid shit going on the whole time that I was like, am I following the stupid jokes or am I following the storyline? Like, which is going on and which am I following? Both at the same, yeah. And I was just like, this is so dumb. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
My thought as an overall, right, watching each episode and whatnot, I really liked that they made the guest character guess who the murderer was. Like, they lined up the three people and they're like, okay, which one do you think it was? And I like that some of them got it wrong. And they were like, no, you're wrong. You're 100% incorrect. Like, no, you didn't even pay attention to the clues. You didn't even, like, pay attention to what we were doing. And so I liked that. I liked that it was wrong and sometimes we're right. And I found myself while watching, I was paying attention to the clues, and I was guessing who the murderer was at the end, too.
You were paying attention to what clues? You were paying attention to the stupid dialogue?
Clues. There were actual clues.
Yeah, I know there were clues, but the clues were literally like, let's get into a stupid interaction with this person so that they can then say these lines that have nothing to do with this interaction, but they need to deliver the line, so we just need to get near the person. Yeah. And then they deliver the line and you're like, obviously that's a clue because she's talking about this shit and it has nothing to do with what's going on. But she's like saying, yes, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't care to hear the clues because nothing was tied together and it didn't make any sense.
See, I disagree. I thought it was great. And like what it really reminded me of after I was watching it was like, if you paid for an experience that you got to be a detective, right? Oh, okay. So, like, I was thinking afterwards, like, not that they paid to do it. Like, Kumail Nanjiani did not pay to have a experience to be a detective and actually figure out a murder mystery. But it kind of made me feel like, if, like, there was a company that existed and you could go and you got to have your own experience of being in a murder mystery, but you were the detective and you had to solve it by the end. Okay. You only had an hour, 2 hours to figure out who the murderer was with finding all the clues.
An escape room, but yeah.
And so to me, that's kind of what it felt like. Was like, ooh, I would love to be a part of that.
Well, seriously, like I mean, if Will Arnett told me to do stupid shit, I'd probably do stupid shit. But I mean, I'd like to think that I'd have Kumail's, wisdom, but say no when you should say no. I like Will Arnett. I mean, I do. I think I like Will Arnett's voiceover work the most. I think when I look back, I like his voiceover work a lot.
Yeah, and then the two things the last two things. I promise.
Gosh, she's got a lot.
I have a lot. I had a lot of time to really process the show and think about things. So
I did too, but I processed 4 thoughts.
With Kumail Nanjiani, his episode. Favorite moment for me was the gasp. I seriously died. Like, I was laughing so hard. Seriously, I was laughing so hard.
Mine was the walk. When he had him walk down the hall and he was trying his hardest to look like all these different things that Will Arnett was describing at the time. And the walk was the funniest. And
I liked the walk too.
For me, at least. And, well, everything that he was doing, everything that Kumail did in that episode to me was the funniest.
But see,
I got a good laugh.
The gasping was the funniest moment to me. Like, I still laughed, just, not as hard with the walks that he was making him do, but, like, I still laughed at those pretty hard. Whereas, like, some of the episodes, I didn't find myself laughing at all.
I liked the parts where every time somebody recognized him at the reunion, they were like, you're the guy that faints and farts. And then every single time that Will tries to say, like, nobody remembers that. Every time Kumail is like, every single person that we've talked to
seems to remember that.
Remembers that.
And then the last thing is the episode with Kim Jeong.
Uh-huh.
The scene where the guy's coming into the office and he has to hide and he's like crawling around on the floor to try to stay hidden.
Oh, uh-huh.
And he's got the earpiece in, right? And Will tells him, he's like, you can't make a single noise because then he's going to know you're there. And then they have a fart machine go off. And Kim is laying on the floor in front of the couch. And he's like, you can tell he is trying to still stay quiet because of the actual scene, but he is laughing and he's like, and then Will's like, what did you do? What was that? What did you do? And he's like, it wasn't me. Then he's trying to whisper it and try not to laugh at the same time. That scene was another one of my absolute favorites. I thought it was great. So I digress. Those are all the moments I wanted to talk about.
That's her digressing.
Yeah. Obviously, Jess did not like it. I'm not saying it was like the best thing I've ever watched.
Now, I promise. My allergies.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's the best thing that I've ever watched, right? But it was fresh. It was a new idea that somebody decided to just run with. And
they've had these ideas before. I just honestly, like, reading the description and seeing the name on Netflix did not look like it was that kind of a show.
Yeah.
And so they could have described it better and let you know it was more of like an improv skit, you know, indentured servitude thing, do what you're told thing. And we'll, you know, and maybe if they'd said that, you know, I would have gone into it knowing to expect that.
Yeah.
And maybe if I was in a different headspace, then I would have enjoyed it more. I just didn't.
Okay, so what would you rate it? What was your rating for it?
1 star, 1 out of 5.
Well, that's, I mean, obviously we know you didn't like it. You
didn't
even really want to talk about it here. Gosh. But I gave it a 2.5.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have thought you gave it more with how much good stuff you had to say.
No, because to me it was half and half. Like, there were 6 episodes. I liked 3 of them. But episode 1, I didn't like. I just enjoyed the fact that Conan O'Brien ran with it.
So let's compare it to our very first video we ever did. Those of you who followed us have been kind enough to like and subscribe and saw since the first video where we were just little babies. Georgia. What was our first video? God, Jess, I should know this.
Georgia and Ginny?
Ginny and Georgia. See, I'm hoping to forget this experience as quickly as I forgot about Ginny and Georgia because it was worse for me than Ginny and Georgia was, and Ginny and Georgia was hard.
Yeah, I agree. Ginny and Georgia was hard. That's all we have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for bearing with us, especially Jess. She bore with me to watch this episode, or to watch this TV series show on Netflix.
We've got a few people that have written us, and we're hoping that we'll do a comedy next time. If you guys have some ideas for a comedy TV show or a comedy movie that you'd like us to watch, whether it's a rom-com or specific kind of comedy, let us know, and we're happy to watch it and do a review. We've done a lot of movies lately, but we were trying to get a TV show in there, and that's why we did this one, but it was really easy to watch in a day since it was
6 episodes.
Yeah, 30 minutes a piece. So, but we're willing to take on something a little longer. You know, it's been kind of busy, but I think we've got the time finally to kind of do something a little longer besides a movie. So anyways, happy you're here. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, guys. Keep shining, folks.
Bye.
Bye. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. The subscribe thing? This looks better than my paws. Like and subscribe at the bottom. Thank you.